Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Coffee with Chris, the podcast on which I can address any concerns, questions, or curiosities that you might have, and also share a bunch about my own life with you. I keep mentioning the intro every time I do the intro, but I feel like it's getting better, so let's see where it's moving towards. I feel like it's still a little empty, though. And once again today, I have no questions to answer, no topics to discuss, due to the fact that none of you have commented anything. So, if you're listening to this, even if you don't plan on actually listening further than this, or listening again tomorrow or whatever, then do me a favor and leave a comment down below, just giving me some kind of subject or asking some kind of question so that I can address it. And maybe that should be part of the intro, actually, to encourage people. Because I do get some views sometimes where they watch for a few seconds and then they leave. And that's fine, it's not for everybody. But I do need some kind of engagement in order to really get the wheels turning. As for everything else, regardless of engagement, I do share with you about my own life. And so today I'm going to share how I ended up teaching the entire class yesterday. I'm also going to share that I actually kind of messed up. So let's start with that one. I underestimated I don't want to say stupidity, because they're not stupid. They're just currently incapable, right? It's all very confusing to them to make websites, but it's very simple to me. And so I was teaching them a quick way to do some resetting so that the pages act more normal. And well, that resulted in a bit of confusion, because some people, I forgot to mention that it needs to go at the absolute top of your page. But people, I thought they knew that, it's a reset. Of course, it goes first. You reset and then you add the new stuff. But that wasn't logical to a lot of them. So I have to pick up the pieces there and make sure that I'm not accidentally tripping someone up. I did, however, do really well overall, and so did a lot of my classmates. We got really far with our websites, and I helped them a lot. I got to help them a lot. I was hoping that I'd be able to work a little bit on my own while I was there, but I ended up being there for almost 2 hours more than planned, and I didn't get to do any work at all on my website. And so yeah, actually I did make one minor change, but I think I'm going to revert it, because then I can use that as an improvement that I made. Because after we hand in the assignment, we still need to make improvements to our website. And I've got 2 improvements in mind. I have a few things that I want to add to the website now that gives it a bit more color and gives it a little more flair. But other than that, I think I'm going to save the 2 things that I have in mind. I have some navigation on mobile that I want to do a bit differently. And then I have, what's it called? Then I have a suggestion from one of my classmates, because as she says, there's one thing in particular that's actually a little annoying to look at when it's on larger screens. So I need to fix that. All in all, I got a lot of praise, but also a lot of them were annoyed with the fact that I'd gotten so far in such a short amount of time. But then I showed them how to do it, and we actually managed to do more than they thought they would. So I got a lot of thank you messages, a lot of appreciation, and I think that was really nice. They even offered, because today we're meeting a little later, and we're doing kind of like a more casual thing where we stay late, we eat dinner together, and those kinds of things. And the reason that we're doing that is to get the finishing touches on our websites. Most people, if they have actually followed along with my teachings and asked questions and all of that, they'll be done by today. Not done, but done enough. And my main focus is definitely my group mates. Unfortunately, we do have one group mate in particular who decided to sit elsewhere, and she kind of distanced herself from us. And I think that was really unnecessary, and it was a bad move on her part. Because she's the one that's falling behind. I'm trying to pull her in, and it's just not working. But, at least the two... Okay, and this is not meant to be mean, but when you have a group, there's often one person who's kind of not as good as the rest of you. It's not that they're bad, it's just that they're not as good. Well, she's the one that's not as good, and she knows it herself. It actually makes her really uncomfortable a lot of times to be with us. She's talked to me about it, and I don't really know what to do, but I'm trying to help her realize that she does have a lot of useful input, and she's able to help us a lot. But the truth is that she is the weakest link, whereas the other three of us, those two girls, are the ones that I'm thinking about starting a business with at this point. Like, they are amazing at what they do, and I fully believe that we could do something really great. The main issue is getting customers. So if anyone knows anything about getting customers, please let me know, because we have the perfect team. We are not professionals yet, but we are getting better and better, and we're getting a lot better than a lot of our classmates. Me especially. And I do admit, there are some members in class that made really amazing designs for their websites, but the technical aspect of their program usage was lower. And that's my role. I'm the tech guy. Then we have the design people. The girls are very creative. And they're also very skilled and hardworking. They learn easily. It's pretty great, actually. I do think we seem to annoy a few people, because we were talking about in class how our teacher really chose right. Because our teacher chose the first groups. We were the group that worked on the first project together. And we did really well. We have rearranged the classroom, taken initiatives to spice it up by hanging the posters that our classmates have made and all of that. We take initiative to ensure that things are good in class and that everyone's having fun and enjoying themselves. And we also work hard on our own things. And it's like, some people in class, they shake their heads and they laugh when we talk about how it's actually expected of us to work a total of 41 hours on this study. But then there's my group. We actually, not all weeks, of course, but some weeks we actually do that. There have been weeks. We even spent our Easter. Everyone else was on vacation. We were at school, in the fabrication laboratory, 3D printing, designing, cutting, not plastic, but like this glass-like plastic thing, printing posters and cards. We were there working while everyone else was on vacation. And that's just... Sure, you can go on vacation. But when your product is literally a video that gets blasted onto the floor, not even interactive, because it was meant to be interactive, but they just made a video and then put it there. That's ridiculous. That's a one-day solution. We worked tirelessly on our solution, and we had a lot of features combined in our solution. One of our group members even drove to the beach. It was, just to those of you who don't know, it was a sea animal themed, because we needed to come up with ideas and prototypes for a company that's kind of like SeaWorld, but smaller, much smaller, and with a greater focus on science, but still open to the public. And so they wanted to engage children a lot more. So she drove all the way to the beach just to get sand and seaweed and things like that. Dried seaweed, otherwise it would have smelled. She was there, but meticulously picking it out, right? Making sure that it was completely dry and all of that. That's the kind of group I'm in. That's the kind of group we are. And we have our strengths and weaknesses. None of them are very good speakers, and none of them are very good at the technical stuff. But that's where I come in. I'm very good. I have a very strong presence. I'm a little casual here online, and I'm pretty much like this actually when I'm with friends and family and all of that. But I'm one of those people that clean up nice. So I put my hair in a ponytail, those kinds of things. It's a short ponytail, don't judge me. I need a haircut soon. Put on a nice suit and then actually stretch my back. I'm confident enough to be in both positions, like both this vulnerable position where I'm kind of slumped over, relaxed, not that embarrassed, and then to actually step up, put on some nice clothes and present. I can do both. A lot of people can, and a lot of people can't. I happen to be with people who can't. And that's okay, because that just means that I can take the lead when talking to potential customers or presenting to a client. I can take the lead. And that's pretty good. One of my weaknesses, though, is that I'm a one-shot cannon. So, I come off with a blast, but then I'm done. If I have to present to 2 groups of people, then the second presentation will naturally be worse. It's a little weird, but that's how I function. And that's something I'm working on. But, we all have weaknesses, just to not make myself sound like I'm perfect, because I'm not. I can't draw, for example. I'm much less creative than my group mates, much less creative than most of my class, actually. I'm more, like I've said, I'm the technical mind. So we've got the tech guy and the 2 creatives. And I feel like that's actually a pretty good combination. I feel like we don't need more than one tech guy. Because it's better to have more creative input that I can then implement in the technical stuff. And at the same time, I'm the voice of reason that says no. Sometimes you just have to say no, right? And I will do that if necessary. But it's more like, I don't think we should do that. Because there's this issue. For example, I kind of told my classmate, stop picking font sizes that are not divisible by 2. They have to be divisible by 2. And I'm not sure she fully understood why. I did try to explain to her that it has to do with when you get, when you're working in I'm going to try that again. Okay. When you're making websites, you have different units of measurement to define your font sizes in. Some units are better than others. The reason that they're better is that they respect the browser. As a user, you can go into your browser and say that you would like the default font size to be a certain size. Maybe you have trouble seeing and you end up turning up. I know my mum does that. Like, her font size is 24, or maybe more actually, and that's large. Standard is 16 pixels, so 24 pixels is actually an entire 50% more. Well, if you use rem or m, it respects this setting. If you use pixels, it doesn't. It overrides this setting. And that can be useful in some cases where you don't want, certain things you don't want to change, but font sizes you will almost always want to change according to user needs. A picture, no, do that in pixels or percentage widths or anything. You don't have to do that in rem. It's actually a little weird to do things like media queries and all that in rem, because it gets a little dangerous when you don't know what the user's settings are going to be. But to get a proper rem value, you have to divide by 16. And when you divide something by 16, you get weird numbers if it's like 27. So you set it to be something that's divisible by 2, because then at most you get 3 decimals in your rem value. And that's pretty normal. I go to 3 decimals. And like I told my classmate, if you get more than 3 decimals, it's because you messed up. And that shouldn't happen. And it's most likely because you either calculated it wrong, like divided by 15 or something by accident, or you have a value that's not divisible by 2. When it's not divisible by 2, it will look weird. And also, it's often much easier to use. Because, for example, 24 is just 1.5. It's pretty easy. 20 is just 1.25, right? And 18 is 1.125. So you can do easy math. Because every 2 pixels is 0.125. And then you just... No, that was wrong. I messed something up there. Hold on, my math is bad. What did I just say? Okay, I'm gonna say that one. It's every 2 pixels. That's 1.25. I think I accidentally said that every pixel was 1.25, but that's not true. That's where it gets weird, because 0.25. To not confuse anyone and not to appear stupid, it's 0.125. That's equal to 2 pixels. And if you want just 1 pixel, it's gonna end up looking like a weird number. Because then you divide 25 by 2. That's, 12 and a half. So all of a sudden you add more. Don't do it. Just stick with something that's divisible by 2. Some people might disagree with that. That's up to you. I gotta go now. I'm sorry about the confusion here at the end, but yes, the right answer is that 2 pixels are equal to, well, it's the other way around. 0.125 rem is equal to 2 pixels. There, easy math. It's been enjoyable talking to you, or rather ranting to you. Thank you for listening if you did listen. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye now.